Hello, my friends. This is Teacher Danny. Welcome to another English class. Today we are going to study the simple tenses versus continuous tenses. Okay, how to make sentences about simple actions and progressive situations in present, past, and future. Right? So let's get started. The first topic that we are going to analyze is the simple present versus continuous present. Remember that simple present refers to an action or to actions that we normally do. And continuous present refers to actions that we are doing in this moment, right? Now let's analyze some differences according to time expressions and also to the grammar. So let's analyze first the grammar of the simple present. Okay, in the grammar we have an example of the positive sentence, and it is: I always enjoy the weekends with my family. Siempre disfruto los fines de semana con mi familia. Okay, this is the positive. Now let's analyze the negative example. In the negative example, we say, she doesn't brush her hair every day. Ella no se cepilla o no se peina su cabello todos los días. Alright? Let's continue with the question example. It is, do you study English in the afternoons? And remember that we have two possible options to answer in a short way. We can say, yes, I do, or no, I don't. You can change the subject and also between do and does, right? And let's analyze the grammar of the continuous present. In the continuous present, we have the positive example, that is, she is watching a nice flick. Ella está mirando una peli chévere o bacana. Okay, so let's remember that in the continuous present we use the to be present and is are, and also the verbs with ing. Alright, we have the negative example. It is, they are not swimming so fast in this competition. Ellos no están nadando muy rápido en esta competencia. In the question 4, remember that we need to change the order between the to be and the subject. So we say, is she studying English now? And we have two possible options to answer in a short way. We can say, yes, she is, or no, she isn't. Remember that in both cases, we can translate the answers as sí and no. Yes, she is, sí. No, she isn't, no. Okay? So now let's analyze the time expressions to differentiate how to use the simple present or the continuous present. So when you have expressions or time expressions, for example, the adverbs of frequency, always, sometimes, often, usually, never, and also other expressions like every day, once a week, twice a month, 3 times a year, you need to use simple present. Alright? Remember, always, siempre, sometimes, algunas veces, often, a menudo, usually, usualmente, never, nunca, every day, todos los días, once a week, una vez a la semana, twice a month, 2 veces al mes, 3 times a year, 3 veces al año. So, when continuous present is used in a sentence, you need to be careful because you must identify these expressions, okay? So, when we are using expressions like now, ahora, right now, ahora mismo, at the moment, en este momento, at present, en el presente, today, hoy, or nowadays, that means hoy en día, you know that this sentence is in continuous present or present progressive. This is the same name, alright? Now let's analyze some differences according to the usage. Okay, so the first one is that the simple present is for habits and routines, and the continuous present is for actions in the time of speaking. Also, the simple present is for permanent situations, and the continuous present is for temporary situations. And the simple present is for true or untrue facts, and the continuous present is for changes, developments, or trends. Right? Also, you need to take in mind that we can use the simple present and the continuous present in a future way. So this is the future meaning characteristic. This is a kind of exception in this topic. So when you're referring timetables or schedules, horarios y cronogramas, you can express a sentence in future using the simple present. For example, I work tomorrow. Yo trabajo mañana. So this is an action that you are going to do in a nearby future. Also, the continuous present for personal arrangements. So if you want to say, I am having a party next week. Okay, yo voy a tener una fiesta, voy a dar una fiesta la próxima semana. So this is an arrangement. Now, let's take in mind the two different type of verbs that we use normally. The first group is the dynamic or action verbs. That are the verbs that you can use in simple tenses or continuous tenses. However, we have the other type of verbs that are the static verbs. The static verbs are the verbs that you need to use only in simple tenses. So they are verbs that are not commonly used in continuous form. So they are not very common to use them with the ing. So now let's analyze a table that I have in here. So this is the stated verbs where we can analyze or we can see 5 different categories of the verbs that are not common used in continuous tenses. Okay, so we have feelings, these verbs. We have thoughts and opinions, pensamientos y opiniones, and we have these verbs. We have senses, los sentidos. We have these verbs. We have possession, de posesión. We have these verbs. And finally, measure, cost, and others. So this is a list that can summarize the list of these kind of verbs. Okay, so but remember that some of them can sometimes be dynamic or action verbs and go in a continuous tense. So let's remember that English is the language of exceptions. All right, but you can take in mind this information. Let's continue with the next topic, that is simple past versus continuous past. So, my friends, the simple past is for actions that we did in the past. So we can say that they are finished actions in the past. So we began something and we finished it. And the continuous past, this topic, is for actions that we were doing in a moment of the past. So we can say that this is a kind of interval of time. So an example of this one could be yo viajé a Europa, I traveled to Europe. However, in the continuous past, could be yo estuve viajando por Europa, I was traveling by Europe. Okay? So, let's analyze the differences according to the time expression. This is the same way than the last topic, but here we are going to analyze the simple past and the continuous past. So, according to the grammar of the simple past, we have some examples. This is an example of a positive sentence. It says, I listened to a strange sound. Yo escuché un extraño sonido. Now, let's analyze the negative example. It is, she didn't buy the paper and the glue. Ella no compró el papel y el pegamento. We can also change and by nor to express the same. She didn't buy the paper nor the glue. Ella no compró el papel ni el pegamento. So you can express it in both ways. Okay, the final example is the question. So it says, did you know that, or did you know koalas are from Australia? ¿Sabías que los koalas son de Australia? And we have two different ways to express the answer in a short way. We can say, yes, I did. That means sí. Or no, I didn't. That means no. Remember that in the simple past, according to the grammar, we use the auxiliary did to make negative sentences and questions. Okay? We don't use it in the positive sentence. We use the verb in past, in the past form. According to the list of the irregular verbs is the second column. Okay? Let's analyze the continuous past. In the continuous past, we need to use the to be past, that is was or were, and the verb with ing, or the gerund. Okay, so we have the positive example. I was studying English at home. Yo estaba o estuve estudiando inglés en casa. In the negative example, we have, she wasn't flirting to the shopkeeper. Ella no estuvo o no estaba coqueteándole al vendedor o al tendero. Okay, and we have the example of a question, and it is, were you reading about that? ¿Estuviste leyendo sobre eso? And also, according to the short answer, we have two possible options, according to the previous example. So we can say, yes, I was, that means sí, or no, I wasn't, that means no. Now, let's analyze the time expressions, how to differentiate the simple past and the continuous past. So, when the action takes expressions like yesterday, ayer, the day before yesterday, antier, last week, last month, last year, la semana pasada, el mes pasado o el año pasado, also time ago, hace tiempo, the other day, el otro día, a long time ago, and we can add into. This is really important. A long time ago, hace mucho tiempo, or in, okay? The time expressions we use in continuous past are during. This is not very common, but the most important are these ones. When, cuando, and while, mientras. So when you find these expressions, you know that we are using continuous past, okay? Let's analyze other characteristics. So this is the difference. These are the differences according to the usage. So simple past versus continuous past. Remember that simple past refers to a completed action at a specified time in the past. Also, we use it for ordered events with before and after. The other point is it is a cause effect with when or after. We use it for a narrative, and we use it to interrupt a continuous action. Okay, so these are like the usage of this simple past. Now let's analyze the continuous past. So the continuous past is a long or incomplete action in the past. Also, it is a long action at an exact moment, interrupted by a short action. So this short action generally is in simple past. Okay. Also, we use it to describe the context in which an action is developed. And finally, to refer to simultaneous actions. This is really important. Remember that we can express two simultaneous actions or two actions in continuous past when they are independent. Only when they are independent. For example, I was swimming in the pool while my mother was reading a book. Estaba nadando en la piscina mientras mi mamá estaba leyendo un libro. One action does not interrupt the other. Okay? Take that in mind. Now, let's analyze the graphic of the tenses. So, we have this graphic. This is the timeline. We have the action 1 that is in past continuous. So, I was eating dinner. Estaba cenando. And the action number 2 is the action that interrupts this previous action. And this is he called me. Okay, this action that interrupts is in simple past. So, I was eating dinner when he called me last night. Yo estaba cenando cuando él me llamó anoche. Also, we can express the same sentence in the other way, and it is when he called me last night, I was eating dinner. Cuando él me llamó anoche, yo estaba cenando. Okay, so this action interrupts this action. How to use when and while? So remember, we have this example. I was doing my homework when the telephone rang. Okay, so doing the homework is the long period action. This is the continuous action, in fact. And telephone rang is a short period action, and it refers to the action that interrupts the previous action. So when you are going to use while at the beginning, we can say, while I was doing my homework, the telephone rang. So after while, you use the continuous past. When at the beginning. So when the telephone rang, I was doing my homework. So when you use when at the beginning, the next sentence is in simple past. So don't forget this tip. Simple past, while, continuous past, when, simple past. Alright? Let's finish with the final topic. This is the simple future. It is for predictions or simple actions in the future versus the continuous future, that are the actions that we will be doing in the future. So we have some quick differences. They are the differences according to the usage. We have the characteristics of the simple future, and they are the characteristics of the continuous future. Also, we have some time expressions that you can check in this part. We have the grammar, where we use will. For the negative, we use want. Okay? And this is the grammar of the continuous future according to the positive, negative, and question form. We have the answers, and also we have the time expressions in here. So you can check the expressions in the simple future and the expressions that we use in the continuous future. So that's all, my friends. Thank you very much for your attention. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you and goodbye.